Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome to my session. Welcome on the first day on DevConf. How are you feeling today? Energized? Great. Together we will investigate some challenges that we need to overcome. We are involved in some project that has some Bluetooth low energy connection. Firstly, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Ewelina. I'm a mobile engineer. For the last 8 years, I was involved in many different projects in mobile area, and last 4 years, I was involved in healthcare apps. I'm passionate to building the product from the beginning to the end, and especially the product that has that involves some people that making a real difference in people's life. I'm also a Woman Tech Maker ambassador and GDG Poznań organizer, so I really invite you to Poznań. And I'm calling myself also as a mental health advocate, because I really believe that we need to think about ourselves and take care about our mind when we would like to be really effective in our work. My presentation goal. I added the slides because I believe that sometimes people don't understand my presentation. So firstly, I have the question to you guys. Who is the mobile developer or have some experience? Okay, one. How many of you was involved in some Bluetooth low energy? Great, we have here. And who is not a developer? Is some other people? Okay, we have technical background, great. Okay, so my presentation, my goal is to show complexity of engineering work, and I would like to show you different points of view when we have some Bluetooth low energy device in our product. The agenda for today, I will give you some basic of Bluetooth low energy and the healthcare apps. I believe that there are many people who has this background, so I will try to do it fast. And I will tell you what is happening when things are going wrong. And then we will dive in issue I had in my app that I was responsible for. And then we will try to find the best solution. I will show you what I discovered, and then I will show you what I've learned during my journey. Okay, so healthcare apps. I see that this industry is more and more popular, and maybe, do you know why? And do you have some ideas? Yeah, it's important. I think that this is because it's important because people want to live longer, but also in a good health, our awareness is growing. What type of healthcare apps do we have on the market? And there could be some apps that are integrating with some sensors for health monitoring. It could be for temperature measure, it could be the stethoscope, it could be some other sensors for other disease. We have also smartwatches apps, which mainly are the healthcare apps, but most often they are not medical device app. We also have some built-in sensor and cameras and accelerometer and so on in our mobile phones, which we are also using to monitor our health. And every health journal for tracking our condition, medicine, mental health is also considered as a as a app which is in the healthcare app. And also when we would like to sell some medical device or book some online consultation, it will be also touching the healthcare industry. Today we will focus on the first type of app, external sensors for health monitoring. Okay, so when we're thinking about this app, what will be the user flow from the business client perspective, not from the developer perspective? Probably some people see we need to turn on the app, connect to the device, simple as that, then fetch some data from the sensor, show the results, interpret these results. Showing results is enough from the business perspective. Okay, so small introduction to Bluetooth Low Energy, really small. Why this could be the great candidate for this kind of communication? Because it was introduced for increasing battery life, and it was designed for sending smart amount of the data for nearby devices. It has, when it's working in the peripheral device mode, it has 3 advertising channels and 37 data channels. This is the fast interaction, collect data, show data, or listen to the data, and it uses the same frequency as normal Bluetooth 2.4 frequency. Okay, so I think that all of you remember our 4-step flow. It was quite easy. So let's dive how it will look when we would like to connect the device in Android application. The first step is simple. We are starting the app. And first we have the first blocker. We need to ask for the permission, of course. And what kind of the permission for Bluetooth Low Energy? It was some changes since Android 12. Firstly, we needed to access the find location, which was shown as location to the user to connect to the Bluetooth Low Energy devices. But since Android 12, Google introduced a new permission system. We needed to introduce a new permission Bluetooth scan and Bluetooth connect when we like to which are shown to the user as an nearby device. We also need to add some flag to manifest, Android manifest, when we are wanted to not using Bluetooth Low Energy for the localization. We need to use the permission flag never for location, and also add other stuff that was used before to have access to the Bluetooth device. Of course, user may say that he don't want to give us this permission because they don't understand it, don't know why, and here we have the first step. Okay, so next, when we are lucky and user said, okay, yes, you have our permission, we need to have access to the Bluetooth. So we need to check if the Bluetooth is available on the phone, and if not, we need to ask to turn on Bluetooth, of course. I think it's the rare situation when Bluetooth is not available on the device, but we should also think about this case. Hopefully, yes, we have all permission. We may connect we may start scanning for the device. And here it's one of the weak points which I was struggling, that device wasn't found. And we may ask why. We need to explain it to the user, and the device may not be found for many reasons. Sometimes our peripheral device is not on and user don't see it. Other reasons may be like, for some reason, the two devices couldn't find each other, or maybe the scanning time is too low because the environment is too noisy, or from the other side, we try to scanning for so long and we are draining battery. So at this point, I think we should really think about these steps, and because I observe on the production that it's not so easy that, okay, we'll just adjust this time and everything works fine. When we connected to the device, we are saying that we are connecting to the GATT server, and the GATT is the acronym, the generic attribute profile. In the simple words for people which are not familiar with Bluetooth Low Energy, it defines how two Bluetooth Low Energy devices communicate with each other. We won't be jumping into these details. And it uses two concepts, services, and characteristics. Okay, so when we are connected to the GATT server, we are able to transfer the data between two devices. And here, it's another hint, one connection at a time. What I have in my mind when I'm saying it. When peripheral Bluetooth device has two modes, advertising mode and data channel modes. When this device is connected to other, which is in mode of sending the data, it couldn't advertise itself. So maybe other user couldn't find your external devices because this device is connected to the other user's phone. And this also we need to consider when we are showing, hi, we couldn't find your device. Okay, so the application I was working for, and which is the background of this presentation, it was the stethoscope, and it was the phone, and it was the app, it was the innovating stethoscope designed for monitor abnormal sounds in the lungs. It was the medical device. So imagine we have the stethoscope, we have the phone, and the stethoscope we have the Bluetooth energy connection established. The stethoscope touched the body, and the data are being sent to our phone. What's happening there? The phone is trying to save this data. They are decoding, then saving, and then they are transferred to some AI. And what can go wrong here? What do you think? Do you have an idea? Everything is so simple for only 4 steps. So it was some connection problem, of course, because we have many things connected with connections. Our reported issue was that the user couldn't perform one-point analysis because, when we try to auscultate some people, as the doctor are doing, we are touching the stethoscope in 1 point, the 2nd point, and there are from 6 to 8 points normally. So we needed to record every point and then send to analysis and get the analysis from AI and show to the user. Really simple. So the reported issue was that one user couldn't perform even one point analysis because the recording is interrupted. When I check the logs, it was the situation here that the data were being sent. Everything was quite good, but the phone detected that there was some discontinuity in the packages, and the full data was dropped. You may observe how it works on the movie. This is our app, and this recording was being interrupted over and over again. This is quite a short movie. It was random, really random. Normally 1 point is to 12 seconds. It takes 12 seconds to record, but when there is some noise detected, this recording is longer because of the noise. However, here it was no noise and everything was good. The stethoscope was touching the body and the connection was being interrupted. And the first question is, does this interruption are good or bad? What do you think from every perspective, not only developer? Yeah? Yeah, but I will answer it depends, of course. And the real question is, why this interruption, why does it happen so often? And what answer do we have? First, maybe there is some external device problem, because it's not my problem. I'm developer, everything works for me, so maybe it's the external device problem. Unfortunately, the external device was quite right. The user returned us this device, and we make some acoustic test and try in different phones. Everything was working quite well. So maybe it's the user problem. It will be the easiest answer, but the user has a different phone and the problem occurs again. So, okay. So maybe it's the low connection problem. Maybe something is implemented wrong. So I try to investigate this problem, and here the fun begins, because I try to do everything to reproduce it. And of course, it was really hard. I even put the stethoscope in aluminum foil. Everything was working. I try, get this stethoscope, leave the phone on my desk, leave out of my apartment, building. Everything works quite well. I was putting stethoscope into microwave, and everything was working. Of course, I didn't hit it, but trying to interfere the signal. During that way, I discovered how many devices are running around us. We are surrounded by frequencies that we couldn't see, and I say that invisible data are flowing in the air, and this is quite different word right now. And I was discovering how many 2.4 frequency devices we have on the market. So I wanted to show you a few types of them. Of course, there are plenty of them. So we have the Wi-Fi, of course, 2.4. We have microwave, which I mentioned here. We have smartwatches. Of course, Zigbee with the smart home. And also every phone using this frequency with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, every mouse, every microphone, remote control, headphones, and there are only types of them. There are so many devices that using this frequency for communication. And of course the webcams. And this is the hint about my title from the presentation. Maybe someone will guess. And okay, so I couldn't reproduce this problem, so maybe we should try exactly the same device. So, of course, it was Xiaomi, and we bought this device, and I was waiting for this device. Yeah, it will solve my problem. It's definitely this particular device. I was waiting for this device. I unpacked it, and what do you think? Was I able to reproduce this bug or not? Of course not. This is the life. So, okay, maybe we couldn't answer this, but I asked my colleague, try you. Maybe I'm clicking in the wrong way, I'm the developer, this is my app, I knew how it works, so maybe this is because of me. And sometimes he was able to reproduce this problem at home, but in our office, this problem with this particular phone was occurred more often, but not always. So I try to Google what's going wrong with this kind of phones. And after many research, I found this post, and this guy, I don't know who is it, said that has problem with Xiaomi devices when Bluetooth is active, and he tried to connect with Wi-Fi 2.4. When he will switch to Wi-Fi 5 gigahertz, everything is starting work. So, problem solved. We may go to home, everything is solved. But not so fast. I've tried to check % of issues due to network types on our production, so I need to introduce some logs and then monitor them. And what was happening? Number of people with this issue, which was happening sometimes, was 65% has this problem was using 2.4 frequency, and some 34% of people was using a different network. But the key was to find the right metric, because this metric didn't say anything about how to solve this problem. So I try to check the number, how many times during one examination process this problem occurs. And here we see that there are devices, there are users who has this problem many times during one examination. And why I'm just finding the boundaries between times during examinations? Because sometimes these interferences are good. Why? Because when someone will drop the connection or interrupt for many different reasons, and we don't want to save this recording because for AI perspective, for the medical perspective, this is the recording that shouldn't be analyzed because it's not valid. So I try to look for some solutions because I knew what is happening and I try to resolve the problem. So maybe, what can I do here? Maybe I should check if someone is using 2.4 frequency and then just switch this Wi-Fi in the background. This is Android, we may do everything here, but unfortunately not so fast because since Android 10, we wasn't able to even turn on or turn off Wi-Fi, and to make some configuration changes, we need to have the admin. We have the admin role on the device. Okay, so maybe the solution will be: let's send data after recording. What can go wrong? This data will send very fast, and everything will be nice, because for me, sending one recording takes less than 1 second. So let's make this all flow a little bit longer, but more stable. So then I checked the production log about how long it takes for the user to send the data to our API. And 25% of the user was sending one point from 9 to 15 seconds. And I wanted to investigate why it's happening, and probably they're using the mobile phone network. Unfortunately, they were using Wi-Fi. Here you see the payload and the response time and the Wi-Fi. Of course, there is more things that are affecting the connection time. However, we checked the server response time and other stuff, and it was the time that phone needed to send the data. Solution. What I find was the most suitable solution. I was checking if phone is connected to 2.4 Wi-Fi because it was something that I could do without any particular restriction. Then I was checking if this problem occurs then more than n times during one examination when n was adjustable to our needs. And then we were showing explanation of accounted problems to our users. This is how we solved this problem. And this is quite a tricky part because it was the best solution that we could do in this particular situation. And I felt that maybe it's not the best, but it works. And this is small answer how we engineers try to solve the problem. And it's quite simple. How to check Wi-Fi frequency in Android? It's quite simple because we are just checking if the frequency is the particular range. And then we had the Wi-Fi manager. We can get from the system search, we can get access to the Wi-Fi manager. Then we are just checking if we're just giving this to this frequency to previous function. Of course, we need some additional permission, but hopefully we have the access find location access because we are connected to Bluetooth Low Energy device. Unfortunately, we have another obstacles because starting Android 12, Wi-Fi info retrieval from the connectivity manager API was deprecated, of course. So another if we needed to add the connectivity manager API. Then we have 2 methods for retrieving the Wi-Fi info connection from the request network or register the callback. Here we are getting the same information from the transport layer. Then we need to listen for the callback, and everything is like it was before. Of course, we have the if since Android 12. And this is how it looks in general. And of course, require API Android 10, so we have another if. But when I try to run this code, I was following the documentation. I had security exception that I need to also add the change network state. So it's not so easy, but it works. But why does it happen? You know, we have solution, goes for the production, it works, but I was asking myself why? Why I need to do every the steps to solve this problem? So I jumped a little bit about this interference problem. Take a look. This is our frequency. These are free advertising channels and other data channels. And there are Bluetooth low energy channels. Then we have our Wi-Fi and 2.4. This is free, the most popular Wi-Fi channels. However, we have more Wi-Fi channels, and because of noisy environment, more people started to use other channels. And it's like this. Of course, we have algorithm to detect this interference, to solve these problems. But we have one tricky part here. When device is choosing the channels and the other people are configuring other devices, this algorithm may not work the best in the particular devices. And in this situation, we don't have solution that fits the all cases. And maybe my solution was trivial, but this is a screenshot from the app from Sony for controlling the camera. And they also say, don't use Bluetooth with Wi-Fi. And I will tell you more about this interference later, but I have one question to you also. Do you know why microwave is using 2.4 frequency? Anyone? No. I will give you one hint. It's because of the water, because this is the frequency that making vibrate the molecules of the water, so this is how microwave is heating the food. And this is why it uses 2.4 frequency, and it's really affecting many other devices around. Do you know what connect electronic stethoscope and the baby monitor? No. I think it's 2.4 frequency, because I said the camera also uses Wi-Fi and also uses the Bluetooth sometimes, and many times the IoT devices only have the hardware that support only 2.4 frequency, because it's theoretically more stable, because it's created for the nearest devices. And what I've learned during this adventure, I would say, because it was quite a long time to investigate, monitor, and find the solution. Our users have terrible Wi-Fi, and I really understand why, because we live in a really noisy environment, and most users don't understand what's the Wi-Fi, what's the 2.4 frequency, and so on. They just have this device and won't works. But many times they bought some access point, Wi-Fi, and one manufacturer is giving range of devices of the same frequency, of the same channels, and they just works. And this environment is being more and more noisy. Network naming could be problematic, and this is the answer, which I didn't give you before, but I would like to say it right now, that it was the main reason why in our office this problem occurs more often. There is a practice in the network engineering that we name the Wi-Fi on the same way, use the same naming for the Wi-Fi, which is configured on 2.4 frequency and 5 frequency. As the result, users see only one Wi-Fi, so it's not the problem which Wi-Fi network I should use, I just connecting to the one. But we are giving this responsibility to connect, to choose the network to our devices. As the result, we have no power which network is being used. And it influences our message to the user, because I could say to them, just use 5 gigahertz frequency, but when our device is configured in the way that we are not able to use particular range of network, our device is as decided for ourselves, and we have this interference problem, because device may switch the network during recording. So this is why it was really hard to investigate. And here I have also the hint why the Xiaomi devices was so problematic, because they uses the same antenna for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So when we have the Xiaomi devices and we like to connect these devices with some external peripheral devices, and in the same time user using the Wi-Fi, we will have interference. So this is quite hint when you're working with some devices and have some idea to run the startup maybe with this kind of device. Watch out, because right now manufacturers try to spend less money, so they try and also make some smaller devices, so they use the same components. As I said, we are surrounded by the wireless devices, and it's growing, and it introduces more challenges to our world as developers, because we also need to explain to the business, to the users, because when I tried to talk about Bluetooth, Wi-Fi with non-technical people, it's, whoa, what are you doing? What are you saying? Just stop. And when I tried to explain why you should use the what's the difference between tracker which uses Bluetooth low energy and, for example, the GPS, it was, oh, I don't want to know about it. But this is the reason why this problem happening. And working with external devices required a lot of creativity to investigate this problem and find out. And I feel that we need to have more big picture in our engineering problem, because it's not about should we choose the Bluetooth low energy for something else, maybe connect through Wi-Fi and so on, but we need to deal, many times we need to deal with the technology that we have in our project, and we need to find the best solution, because in the end the business needs to earn money. And I really believe that innovation required education, because we are introducing this technology, this is becoming our day-to-day life, and we need to educate people. It's hard, because as an engineer we don't like to speak with people, but educating in small steps make all difference. And the last words, sometimes small numbers matters a lot, and what I have in my mind when I'm speaking about it, this was the medical device. It was created to help people during illness, sometimes some really hard disease like cystic fibrosis. Do you know what the cystic fibrosis is? No, it's the terminal illness when people are just genetic terminal illness, when people have problem with their lungs. They're not breathing normally, they have phlegma in their lungs. When I would have the cystic fibrosis, I was dead right now, because people live 20, 25 years. It's really long life with cystic fibrosis. And when I was investigating my logs, I find out that this user has cystic fibrosis because we were tracking this situation. And when I saw that this one user has the stethoscope to help make their life better, this really short life, to increase the comfort of every days, and I wanted to investigate this. I wanted to just do it to make this one person's life better, because I knew that my problems are not so big problems. And this is what came to my mind, that we are creating technology, but we should creating this technology for people, not for metrics, because in general, when I would say that this one guy problem, some business would say just drop it, it doesn't matter. But this is one life of people, and I think it's really important in the age of AI, when many people are asking what will happen in 1, 2, 3 years, does this will replace our job or not? And I'm always saying that firstly we need to take care about ourselves, and as I said, I am a mental health advocate. I had to you one practice. You can scan this QR code, you will download the PDF with a deep breathing technique, which is really useful. It was really useful for me. It's how to make you more stable in the stress situation, and this is the square technique, which is used in military, and it really helped many people before some speaking, before going to the stage, or some business meeting on when you need to decide what to do when our production is firing. And thank you, just stay in touch, and hope you enjoy my presentation.